Alright. Larry, HHO Power, made a comment, kind of off hip, but it's still, I figured I'd get out the notes on it. These are some of my notebooks. I keep notebooks on lots of subjects. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. This is just some of the ones that I have right here. I've got more out in the lab. This is my HHO notebook. It's now 2 notebooks. Um, and these are just the stuff that I actually write down. Most of my experimental data I don't bother putting into the actual notebook. What he was discussing is the energy of the bubbles in an HHO system going through water. A lot of people have discussed this. Not very many people have actually done the math. Well, here. I have done the math. Based on realism, actually. Not ideal. Uh, just so you can copy and paste and pause it if you want. Here. Looks like R2 is going to go point at the ceiling. There. Yeah, R2 down here. Hey. Yeah, he does that. Oh, and one more page just for fun. Yeah, R2's confused. He doesn't know where to look. I don't know if you can read it. I'm not sure that I care. Hey, R2, over here. Yeah. Yeah, find, yeah, that ugly thing right there. Yeah, that. There you go. How would I want to do this? Okay, I give you a brief overview. If you're really interested, make some comments, PM me. I'll give you the actual breakdown. Here's the basic test apparatus. You take a power source that is on the top of a body of water. It's going to be a large body of water, not some little bubbler, but it's going to be, what did I calculate the depth to? That is equal to, at the surface, it's been, well, it's been probably a year and a half since I did this, so I don't remember it off the top of my head. Let's see. Okay, so I start this one at 10 meters. Yeah, I think that's what this one was done at, is just 10 meters, and I think that I did another one deeper, depth of 100 meters, so I'd have to read my entire dissertation on it. I don't really feel like it. I remember the gist of it. But the reason I picked 10 meters, that's 1 atmosphere difference. If you took a balloon down, or if you took it from the surface down, it would be half the volume. And then that's the way water goes, is 33 feet down, 110 meters. It's half the volume. I believe you have to, every 33 it goes another half, so half of half of half of half. Anyways. The benefit is this. Normally you would take a balloon, push it down into the water. That would require energy. Okay, that energy is stored in the form of that the buoyancy, the displacement of the water with the air. And when you let the balloon go and it rises to the surface, that is the release of that energy. In this system, we get to transport that air down to pressure with electricity. Well, electricity doesn't care what pressure it's at. It's not affected. The two systems are isolated from each other. Electricity and pressure, they don't go together. You can make pressure from electricity, sure. You can make electricity from pressure, quartz, piezoelectric effect. But in this case, copper wires, conductors, things like that, the two don't intermingle, so it's not a concern. You can run as much electricity down 100 meters as you want. It doesn't require any extra energy, and that's where we get the cheat. It's using the environment. It's putting the conditions, things that don't interact, together in a specific environment, and then allowing them to interact, and then harvesting the energy of it. So in this case, we transport the energy down in depth to an HHL cell. That cell then turns, oh, I don't know, in this particular case, we'd have it in KOH because I know the efficiencies for that. Salt water I don't know the efficiencies for, and well, it's going to make some chlorine gas more than likely. Don't want to deal with that. How much time I got? 6 minutes, okay. So let's just say it transports it down to a KOH cell. Well, the cell doesn't really care that it's at pressure. Doesn't make a difference. Liquid doesn't compress. But what will happen is when you turn it on, the bubbles that it does make will be small. They'll be tiny at that pressure. And as they rise towards the surface, they will increase in volume and therefore increase in displacement, increase in lift, increase in energy output. Plus, we still get to burn it once at the surface. So how deep do you have to get it to go over, and how far over unity is it? Well, it's not really all that over unity. And like I said, I haven't even bothered to read this. This is just an off-the-hip shot. I had done this exercise prior to, and I figured I'd toss it out there. But with some real-world efficiencies, let's see, 18 per 30, amount of lift, the average lift, yeah, okay, blah blah, force is equal to ms times acceleration, blah blah blah. I'm really not going to get into all that. Take too long. 720. Okay, it's 106% efficiency. This is not ideal. This is, from what I remember, I'll have to read it, but it's at real world efficiencies as far as conversion factors and things like that. I know that the amount of gas made from the cell is factual. It's replicatable. You can do it all day long. I can do it all day long. The depth is obviously factual. The amount of lift is known. How much energy you can generate off a generator, those efficiencies. Like I said, I'd have to read it. It's a few pages long. Liquid. Okay, that's something else. Oh wow, where was R2 pointing? 8 minutes. I got probably a couple of seconds. So if you really want to know, do the math. Figure out how to do the math. I've done it. I know that if you took a cell down to 100 meters or plus, I believe anything more than 100 meters, I just basically said piss on that, because the bubbles would be so small at the very bottom depth that their lift would be tiny, and well, I just didn't really feel like calculating it. But do the math. It does work. Why does it work? Energy of position. You get to send the energy down in one state, one condition, one form, electricity. Energy gets to come up in the form of chemical energy stored in the separate hydrogen oxygen, and you get the gravitational input from the lift, the buoyancy. Once it's at the surface, you still get to burn it in an engine, steam, however you want to. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Take your pick. There's many flavors of that. So for those who say, oh, you can't have a COP greater than 1, well, do the math. Figure it out. Yeah, you can. It's pretty easy. See ya.